All right, we are live. Episode 24 of season 6. Welcome to the side action. My name is Jim Weglars, aka Wegs. You can follow me at X. See, I changed it
Yeah.
right there.
Okay. Right.
At Wegs Pool on X and Instagram.
And I'm Coop. You can check me on Instagram at Dalton Cooper, on X
Yeah.
at Mr. Grumpy Gills. Again, we are the Side Action Podcast. We were coming to you live on Saturday.
Yeah.
On Saturday.
Sorry, everybody. Jimmy Wegs, it's my fault. Had a trip to Phoenix that kind of got booked like a week before, like 5 days, maybe 4 days before I had to leave. I didn't even do the outline. I did the outline this morning. It's been a scramble. I've been like nonstop, not just drinking, but like we had like 4 meetings a day, dinner. I ended up having dinner with my cousin Thursday, way out in the boonies. I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to do this in a hotel. Plus, we'll talk about later. We've got Dempsey, Night Ranger he's did his first hit. We've been trying to get him on for a couple of years. He must be you. He must be like you. He's like, get him on there. So we'll have a live exclusive from Vegas, from Circa, with Dempsey in a minute. We had to coordinate that today, too. So how was your week? How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. I feel like there's been a space between us. I feel like
All week.
No, it's been all right. We did Tuesday night bowling. It's been a pretty chill week.
Yeah.
Honestly, been working a lot. So,
but did you also go to the PVA National?
Oh yeah, so
buddy got a really
Graham.
good hook.
Yeah, Graham was out bowling. They were bowling out in Mount Prospect this week. Okay. So Tuesday, Wednesday was working in the bowling alley. From probably from like 10 to like 2. But yeah, I got to see him, so it's always good to see the fellas. But yeah, other than that, it's been a pretty chill week. Looking forward to tomorrow. I got my getting my meal prep going. I've got some tacos that I think I'm gonna make.
Okay, little tacos. Okay, little meat.
So,
nice. Yeah. I'm gonna do a taco dip, not with meat though. It'll be veggie. It'll be just kind of a 7-layer dip kind of thing.
Nice.
It's a big hit. So we are going to Four Shadows tomorrow. That's exciting. Yeah, Phoenix was. So it was kind of weird. You're going to Phoenix. You're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to 70-degree weather and all that.
Oh no.
Shitty. It was like 50 and rainy. I brought the terrible weather there. Everybody hated me there. Plus the Waste Management Open, which again, I didn't plan this trip. Like I think I might have said, got a promotion. Theoretically, I will get more money at some point. They haven't really just determined that.
You need an agent.
I need an agent. God damn it, I need an agent. So anyway, they're like, hey, bro, you got to go to Phoenix on Tuesday. Great. Okay. And then we tried to get hotel rooms, like $500 a night minimum. So we stayed in this like no-tell motel. It was like the Sure Stay by Best Western. It wasn't even a Best Western. It was shitty by the airport.
Sister Best Western.
I mean, it saved us some money, but it was sketchy. So, but that's how it happened at the Waste Management Open. There's all the hotel rooms are booked.
Yeah.
You're screwed. And so there were tons of people going down there. As we were doing these meetings, most of the contractors and stuff, they're all the bros. They got their cool little golf shirts. It's with their companies. They're like, yeah, we'd have been at the Waste Management Open, but it's raining, so we can meet with you. That's kind of what happened all week. So it paid off for us. And then I went down to Tucson. We drove, it's about 2 hours, an hour and a half plus to Tucson, south of Phoenix. So we did that yesterday. It was like, got up at 7, drove down there, had a couple meetings, drove back up, and then flew back. I didn't get into like midnight last night. I'm a little tired, bro. I'm tired.
You're looking all right though.
Well, I played today. Played 7 games. We played 3 hours. Normally we do 2 hours, as you know. Maybe we don't. We usually do a 2-hour with 4 guys. You play like Iron Man 6 straight without many breaks. Today, because Luke, he's got an influence over people. He was not. He was the alt. He was the alternate, and he talked Scott into playing 5-man. So we had 5 guys for 3 hours. So I ended up playing 7 games instead of 6, but I got to wait. I got to sit twice, which is nice.
Yeah.
Because, the old man and his bones. I played pretty good. It was pretty fun. Carlos, Carlito.
Oh, yeah.
Haven't seen him in a while. He's been moving to suburbs. He's got he's a pickleball champion out there, but I haven't seen him, but it was nice to see him. He played today. So it was, Yarick, Scott, Luke, and Carlos and myself. So it was fun.
Nice. Yeah.
Sounds
like a pretty chill Saturday.
So what happened with Hamlin? It didn't happen, or you just didn't get in the sign up?
No, I think they're doing something at the gym this week.
Oh,
so gotcha. We should be back to your regular scheduled program this week, hopefully.
Good stuff. Well, let's jump into it. I admittedly not too prepared, but I know you always are. So who are you taking to the shed this week, Coop? I mean, this is, we've got a big shed full of a lot of people.
The NFL PA office is the
Okay.
first person up on the list for the shed this week. So I don't know if you saw this on Monday or Tuesday, but the Chiefs are practicing at the Raiders facility this week leading
Indoor,
up to the game.
nice.
Yeah, great facility. And then the Niners were practicing at UNLV's practice facility, which is a really nice multi-million-dollar facility.
Yep.
You know, we're not here to say that, but they had freshly laid sod over their turf. So the 49ers and a lot of the other just the players,
fresh.
Yeah, fresh. The players and obviously the personnel, they're complaining about, like it's basically running on a sponge. And the sad part is the NFL has bylaws and protocols set up in place to where this was supposed to be taking place in December. This was supposed to be all situated by December, and yet here we are in February, and this is still an issue. So firmness is trash. They have seams in the field, and it's just been a nightmare. So
you'd think they could just kind of set up a schedule where they could both play at the same, like practice at the same facility, so it's even. But I guess they want to take over it, and I heard so nobody is actually practicing at Reliant. That's the other thing. It's like, why wouldn't they just practice on the main field? Is there stuff? Is there an advantage? I don't know.
Well, they keep they roll the field in too, so it's not like they keep it in the stadium. But
I heard, last year when it was in Phoenix, they had that same problem. They kept it outside, and it was unusually moist or something, and then they covered it with a tarp, so it
kept all the moisture in,
destroyed the grass. That's why it was so nobody could run on that field last year. We'll see if that hopefully they fix it in the next 24 hours and figure it out.
Yeah. The sod father at it again.
Well, that one dude, whoever, I can't remember his name, that they blamed, he will not be associated this year. He's like, I'm not going. I'm not doing anything.
No, he retired. I think last year was his last.
He got blamed for the problem. It wasn't all him. It was some bad decisions.
Well, he's also a lifelong Chiefs fan. So that's very publicly documented too.
That's a little suspect.
And then other franchise getting taken to the shed. I don't know if you're familiar with the gas station Come and Go.
Well, I don't know Come and Go in that respect.
Gotcha. Well, they announced that they were going to be changing the name of the franchise this week.
Probably a good idea, but you think that's a bad idea?
Yeah, they're getting taken to the shed. They've built this franchise on coming and going, and I don't understand why they'd want to just get rid of that. So I'm taking them to the shed, and I think it's a very valuable place. I hope there's plenty of you out there that'll agree with me.
Yeah, you don't want to go to a quick trip. You want to go to a Come and Go.
Yeah,
there seems to be some benefits going there.
Absolutely, I couldn't imagine anything more. But yeah, they're a scattered franchise. I know they're out in the West Coast and stuff like that. So I've seen them in my day of travel. So.
Well, I'm going to take Doc Rivers to the shed. He's not the only one to blame here. The Bucs aren't playing very good. And I didn't get to do a lot of research, Coop, so I don't know how many games he's coached. But all I know is they were in a slide. They did win last night. They won their last game, but
38.
They keep losing games. Big games. They lost in Phoenix when I was out there. So, they bounced back last night, but I don't trust him. I don't think he's a great motivating coach. I think he's a solid guy, but he really isn't the answer to turn this thing around. Maybe they bounced back last night, but I just don't trust them. So, Doc, we got plenty of room in the shed. Maybe if you spend a little time in there, you'll get your team to play some defense.
Maybe. Well, they got it. They just traded for Patrick Beverly too, so that should help them a little bit, at least on the perimeter.
We all know Patrick Beverly gets under people's skin.
Oh yeah, well at least he can play defense. So, but who do you want? Who do you want to put in clubbed up this week?
Yeah, I know. I got to put somebody in there. Well, here's the thing. I will do it reluctantly. We're going to put Joe Flacco in club dub. I don't know if you saw NBA honors. We could talk about my losses, but the win, NFL honors, my bad.
There you go.
Joe Flacco gets the comeback player of the year.
Yeah.
Now, this is a little bit controversial because obviously DeMar Hamlin died on the field for whatever it was, a minute or two, and he came back to play the next year. That is like a true comeback. We've got Joe just sitting on the couch and playing with the kids, and then he came in. But you know what? Good for Joe. Good for him. As you said, elite.
Yeah.
He did get it. I know that people were talking on the gambling stations, VSiN and stuff. People had, I think the biggest ticket I heard was 100 to 1 on him.
Damn.
To win. So welcome into Club Dub, Joe. Come on in. We're not sure where your future is, but for at least this, this period of time, maybe until the start of next season, you could exclusive rights to Club Dub.
Nice. Exclusive. You're adding a motorship, eh?
Well, yeah.
Wow.
Why not? He's elite. He's a one-time Super Bowl winner.
Yeah, no, definitely elite company. I don't know if you saw this, but this was on the Corn Ferry Tour though. So, first person I'm putting is Cristobal de Soler.
Okay.
He posted a 13 under 57 on Thursday during the opening round. Lowest event on PGA record. So
Wow.
I think he went. I think it was like 28 and 31 or something along those lines. I don't think that math's correctly, but I know he went out in 28. I can't remember whatever the math is on the other one. So yeah, pretty good round. I don't know what your lowest round ever, but that's like 30.
Maybe on a 9.
Yeah, that's like 20 round. That's like 20 shots lower than my best round ever.
Yeah,
that's insane. So and then we're gonna go with Kansas State. They defeated Kansas Tuesday night in overtime at home. They were on a 4-game losing streak, obviously, so that kind of helped them get in the right track. I think they're 15-8 now.
Yeah.
Following that, but nice little stat too. They're 6-0 in overtime this year, and they're 11-0 in overtime in the last 2 seasons under Coach Jerome Tang.
Yeah, so, I know. It was funny when they posted the stat when they went in overtime the other night, and this was they were at home in Manhattan, Kansas, the Sunflower State, and they posted. I'm like, 10-0 in overtime last 2 seasons. I'm like, oh boy. You don't post that. They're going to lose now. They did it again. I mean, they almost did. I don't know if you watched the game. I watched it a lot of it. They had chances in regulation, and then in overtime, it's like, please win this game. It's not that I don't like Kansas. We have, one of my friends, Whitney, who now is in Portland. She's a big Kansas Jayhawk person. Maybe she's listening. It's not that I hate Kansas. I'm just kind of sick of those guys. Like, it's like, okay, you're good. We get it. Let somebody else win once in a while, especially in the Big 12.
But they're a blue blood.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, well, whatever. Anyway, but they finally lost, so I hope your heart's content.
I feel great.
They got an extra gear down there in Kansas State, so you got to look out for them. You don't want to take those guys to overtime. But and then we're also, I don't know if you saw this today, we're going to put Chip Kelly in Club Dub. He actually got hired on at Ohio State to be the next offensive coordinator. He had resigned from UCLA, obviously, following the end of the season. But the vacancy came when Bill O'Brien actually was the OC for Ohio State, and then 5 minutes later, he turned around and became the head coach for Boston College.
There's been a lot of that. You had Cliff Kingsbury kind of declined the Raiders and then went to Washington, which also meant that
that was more of a contract thing because Washington was going to give him 3 years as opposed to he was only going to get 2 years from the Raiders. So.
Yeah, it also means Bieniemy's out in Washington, which kind of sucks. So he's on the
street. He's working with Kansas City this week. I don't know if you knew that or not. He's in the building working with the Chiefs. So
he's more
Andy
creative
brought him in.
than Nagy, that's for sure.
So that's my Club Dub this week. Yeah,
I like it. Well, what about your stat of the week here?
I was going through the props this morning and just fun stats and all that kind of stuff. So, do you know who is the all-time leader in NFL postseason completion percentage with a minimum of 5 starts? Do you know who it is?
5 starts.
This person actually had more than 5.
Yeah, I'm sure. I would say Joe Burrow.
No, that's a good guess. No, it's actually Nick Foles.
Oh,
68.1% completion percentage.
Do you know what Nick Foles' nickname is?
Yeah, Big Dick Nick.
Yeah.
He's got big Nick energy.
BDN.
Yeah, he's got big Nick energy. So, that was a fun stat I came across this morning. I thought that was
68.8.
Yeah.
68.1.
He's actually had 6 starts, by the way, in the postseason.
Yeah. I mean, the Super Bowl was like legendary. He was just lighting it up. It was amazing, and he had a couple of those runs. So good for BDN.
So 5's a little fun stat for everybody out there. I figured that I couldn't believe that one either when I read it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll start with the Super Bowl interview and go. Okay, we are recording. We have the man, Paul Dempsey, a.k.a. the Night Ranger, out in Vegas live. He's like our correspondent this week. He's out there. He got comped at Circa. I'll let you tell all about it. But I'm sorry I couldn't join you. I really wanted to. I'm just a little broke right now. Maybe next year. But how's it going out there? What's happening in Vegas? You've been on the street.
It's going great. I got here Thursday. I'm leaving Monday. I am surprised, though. I got here Thursday, really dead. Friday, picking up a bit. Today, still picking up a bit. And I actually asked a few dealers and bartenders, it seems a little bit lighter. I said, is this different than NFL Week 1 or NCAA? And they said, yeah, it's lighter. So it is fun. I've been to a lot of fun stuff, but it's not a crush of people. So it's interesting.
I'm surprised. I figured it would be bigger. I mean, I guess it depends on where you're at. Now, you're at Circa right now, like you're actually in your room at Circa?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm at my room at Circa. Yeah. I went down to the Strip on Friday. I played in a poker tournament at Caesars. Caesars is the NFL headquarters for the Super Bowl.
Right.
Bumped into Anthony Munoz, Hall of Famer. I saw some other guys that were probably NFLers. I don't know, but it was kind of cool to see that thing out there. But as I left the Strip Friday night, I could tell it was starting to build traffic on that. So I'll probably be downtown here the rest of the weekend.
Okay. And then have you ever been in Vegas for the Super Bowl? I know it's obviously on site this year, but have you ever been there in other years?
No, I haven't, and it's pretty cool and it's pretty unique. I'm thinking I almost went down to Miami when the Bears played the Colts, but I
Yeah.
didn't have the money, a lot of money, but that's all spread out. I thought this would be really unique, and that's what would pull people in. I have seen the cool thing is I've seen jerseys of it's like NFL Week 1. I've seen Cowboys, Eagles, all this. So people are repping their jerseys. I got my Bears pin on, they're
Sure.
repping their towns. Right now, I would say it's my opinion 60% Niners, 40% Chiefs gear. I'm seeing.
Okay. 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 So a little more Niners. And then, so like I was in Phoenix this week for work, not for the Waste Management Open. Last year they had it in Phoenix, both the Super Bowl and Waste Management Open. I do think traditionally a lot of people do go from Waste Management up to Vegas just to enjoy the Super Bowl, whether it's there or not. And I think you're going to get a lot of people tonight and tomorrow because Waste Management, it rained like 2 days straight. So the program is Wednesday. They kind of rained that out. Thursday it was pouring. I mean, it was like they had to stop play. I don't think they got anything in. So maybe you'll get more people up there tonight, flying. It's only, whatever, an hour from Phoenix,
Yeah.
than tomorrow morning. So you may get a bigger rush. A lot of guys who were, drinking with their shirts off in the stands at Waste Management Open are sad because it was like 55 and rainy. It wasn't that great down there.
And Vegas, I guess, got a lot of that weather up until like Tuesday, and then it cleared out. So it's a little chilly out here, though. I looked up. I'm overlooking Stadium Swim, where we've been out there for NCAA, we're out there for football. I
Yeah.
counted 30 people an hour ago, and 28 of them were pool. So unless you're in the heated pool, you don't want to be sitting outside. And I'm a Chicago guy.
Yeah.
It's a little chilly out there with that when Fremont Street with that wind blowing through. It's a wind
Sure.
tunnel. It's February.
A little brisk, a little brisk.
Is there
But
a high anticipation of Taylor's arrival, do you think? Can you feel the tension in the air? We obviously want to get the important questions out there as well.
The funny thing is, I was actually looking for that. I haven't seen any Taylor gear. I'm sure it's out there. Maybe it's more toward the strip. I don't know, but I'm sure you guys have peeked in the stories. It sounds like, oh, can she get there in time? Oh, she absolutely can. They're way behind. Like her show's over. She's in flight right now, my guess. So like they said, the earliest she'll get there is like 6 or 7 o'clock tonight. So I never do this, but I'm going to a big Super Bowl party. So I paid some money to go to. I'm going to go to the Maxim Park.
yeah,
Nice.
Resorts. And so I expect to see, Taylor there. So, if I don't, I might refund, ask for a refund. We'll see.
yeah, exactly. Make Travis a little jealous there, Paul. I mean, there's nothing like a 50-year-old Bears fan pushing up on Taylor Swift, at a Maxim party.
Yeah.
So before we get into kind of your leans for the game and what you're thinking and what you're feeling out there, tell us first about your method because I don't know if you guys got to talk at the party, but this guy is a slot guy. He's a high roller slot guy, and he sent me a picture on was it Thursday? I lose track of days. He's like, hey, it's a video started off right and won $3,500 right out the gate.
Hell yeah!
So tell us your method. How do you with the gambling and everything? What is your MO when you go to Vegas?
So I play a lot of roulette, a lot of blackjack, but I'm not, I'll play high limit slots, but I can't afford it. Like I watch channels where guys will play 10, 15, 20 minutes at $100 a spin, $300 a spin. I can't afford that. I'll take grand every now and then, maybe twice a trip, maybe 3 times a trip. And if I had something great, if not, so be it. And I let my money run. So I was lucky right out of the gate. So you're right. I had a $3,500 hit on Thursday. Guess what I'm up right now? 35.55. So
Boom.
no. So that means I've also thrown money in and lost, and then won back elsewhere. So like everything's just equal across the board. If you're going to play big slots, you're also going to lose $6,000, $8,000 at a hit and that kind of thing. But then I also love playing 25-cent video poker, sitting in the bar and talking to people at the bar. So I'm all over the board on things. Today I threw some money on, some NCAA hoops, a couple parlays in there. I'm not great at straight odds on games. I get my information from you guys. So I'm not a good analytics guy as it comes to betting, but I really play everything in the casino outside of Keno. but I'll hit a lot of roulette, blackjack, and then every now and then, a high limit slot. And because now I'm up and I gotta pace myself. I got a day and a half or so left, and I'm usually pretty good at this, but I can't want to blow it just because I gotta just do what I would normally do. And I'm up right now. I should go home at worst even, right?
Yeah, of course. And then for the game, are you gonna bet, side total? Are you gonna do some props? Are you gonna do on the app? Are you in-person ticket guy? How do you usually do that?
Yeah, I'm do it all in person. I did a bunch of props already, maybe $400 or $500 worth of stuff hit here and there. I can't decide on the team, so I'm not going to bet it just because I don't want to force myself to bet it. To me, it feels like a lot like that last Patriots title game, 2017-18 season, maybe, when they were down. Or I'm sorry, was it the last one when they beat Goff and the Rams? It was like 13-3. It feels like that. The Chiefs aren't the same team, but guess what? They keep winning. The Niners look like a good team, but they have this rookie in the at the seat. So I might be the only person in town. I might hammer the under, just thinking Chiefs are going to do some stuff, maybe some drops. Purdy might do some stuff, maybe some picks. So I'm going to do a lot of my bets. Either I'm going to do definitely the under, and then take some other picks. Like a lot of people say, this game is equal. Hey, if you go into overtime, it's about a 10-1 bet right now. I'm going to bet it's going and bet some other plays like that are more geared toward lower scoring. Of course, it could blow up my face. It could be like last year, 38-35. So who knows?
Yeah. We'll talk about it more on the pod later, but I hear you. It's a tough game to handicap this year, even more than last year, even though I thought last year the teams were pretty even. But and it was a good game. So I just want a good game usually. I mean, we're going to talk about a lot of props, and that. But the Chiefs have definitely defied the odds, through the playoffs, and they've, their defense is really what's leading their team for sure.
It's funny you mentioned that Super Bowl with the Rams and the Patriots, because if you look at the percentages of the money, obviously all the public is on the Chiefs. It's like 70%, which right now is the highest percentage of all time. The other two times previously, 68% of the money, and one of those was the Broncos and Seahawks when the Broncos got blown out, and then the other time was that Patriots and Rams Super Bowl.
And they were on the opposite team.
And they were So it's funny you brought that up. I was going through Twitter and saw that the other day.
That's why it worries me.
You mentioned that. So
Vegas has been on the right side. The preview, you'll listen to us later when we get it all up. But the Vegas has been on the right side like every year for the last 15 years, except for those two, or like the two. Or I'm sorry, there was another two, and that one. So they won those Super Bowls. But there's other ones that they've been on the right side pretty much every time. They don't get beat very often. So unless there's a ton of money that's coming out of San Francisco that I don't know about, I have seen on Twitter the big bets have been coming in on San Francisco money lines and stuff like that. There haven't been a lot of reported Chiefs bets, even though Billy Walters, I don't know if you know who he is, but he was on Radio Row and they said he was going to put on the Chiefs. But I'm not sure if that was a head fake kind of thing for him. But it's tough game. But I mean, so you're saying it's kind of growing the buzz. There'll probably be some more. You're going to Maxim's party on Sunday or today?
Yeah, that's tonight. Tomorrow there's a There's a bunch of watch parties at Circa, but just because of the weather, and I'm a Chicago guy, it's cold out there. I'm not going to go to Stadium Swim. They have like a third floor ballroom. I'm going to be at the watch party. Coop, it's funny you brought up the Seahawks Broncos Super Bowl, because that was the only one to start with the safety. And just because I'm up a little bit and I bet some on that. So if this game starts 2-0, Wegs, if this game starts 2-0, I'm buying the cabana at the next.
Oh yeah, baby. Yes, that's right. I mean, I know you'll be. We've talked. We say we're not going next month, which is a bummer, but we're definitely going in September. We're gonna get this young man out there. We'll hopefully get action back, get the whole band back together. Art, leave Natalia at home for God's sakes. And let's have a good time. And we might have a bigger group. We've got a lot of friends that always talk about coming, but Dempsey's one of the stalwarts. He's there, unless he's got an actual thing at work, then no bullshit stuff. He actually will be there.
Day one.
Yeah, and so we had Schwa a couple of years ago. It was fun. And you were there the year, so about a year and a half ago. My brother-in-law took it was action spot at the pool. You bought the strawberry daiquiris, and I told you the story how he threw up all the way home. in the car.
Yep.
Yikes.
That's because Paulie bought the daiquiris.
Nice.
So yeah, my brother-in-law can blame you, but I mean, he didn't have to suck it down like a champ.
He gave us a ride in that car, but anything you added to the base of that car was fine because it needed a little something.
It's true. That was a rough little minivan. So, okay, so you're doing the Maxim tonight. Watch party tomorrow. You fly back Monday. Hopefully, you go home. Up. Anything else you're gonna? What's some of the stuff you always do when you go to Vegas?
I love just jumping in at. I would not love. I don't mind losing $50-$100 an hour at a blackjack table if it's with a bunch of fun drunk guys and a bunch of pretty girls. I mean, I will gladly sit there for a while and lose money. So I'm looking to find that fun table today. And if I stay up in that, I might throw some big money at, a couple of bets I looked at. 49ers score every quarter, minus 210. Chiefs score every quarter, minus 235. Like, if I'm in my thought, this game's going to be close. That's not going to happen for either. So I might throw some. I mean, minus 200 is a big bet. You're not getting a lot on the back end, but those might be my big bets tomorrow morning. We'll see what happens.
Okay, sounds good. And that'll be at Circa, or you'll go to Caesars or wherever you're going to put that in.
Tomorrow, I think I'm going to sleep in, and then I'll probably do that at Circa. But one of my sucker games I play is Let It Ride, and they don't have it at Circa, so I'll go across to the Nugget. Sorry, Derek Stevens, I'm not going to. They don't have it at your properties, but I did bump into him on Thursday, and I going to take a photo with him, and he was like literally getting ready to do an interview, and I didn't bother with him because I know he's got obviously shit going on at his at his 3 properties this weekend. So
he's a nice guy. I know that Actions talked to him before, and then this year when I was with Art, it was just basically Art, me, and Natalia at the pool. I was wearing the Circa, Survivor hat, and he like stopped at a camera crew, and they're like, "Hey, who'd you pick this week?" So he's a cool guy, and he's a salty youth guy. I mean, he's just a guy amongst the people. He'll always be walking around, and he loved. Of course, he had his Detroit Lions. He would have been really excited when Lions made it, but
yes. I think Lions, Bills, this town will be a little different right now.
Yeah, I think you're right. The wine and cheese, San Francisco.
Or even Cowboys. I'm not a Cowboys fan, but can you imagine if Cowboys Nation descended on Vegas and it was the Bills again, repeat of 90, whatever it was, 92, 93 in there.
Yeah, for sure.
You could also do a no double doink for no doink field goal. It's like minus 750. So it is an investment, but it should pay off.
So with no it
doinks,
can't hit anything.
No doinks, yeah.
And that's on the
whole game.
I'm from Chicago, so I would have to bet yes, being from Chicago.
Well, there was one last year. Butker had one last year, so it's like the first time in like 12 years they had one.
Yeah, for sure. Well, great, man. Well, thanks for joining us. Have a great time. You're keeping the spirit of the Side Action Podcast. Maybe just one time, roll the bones and walk away. It's fine. You can do a walk off, and hopefully you can hit another big one on the slots.
Sounds good. Thanks, Wegs. Thanks, Coop. This pod's awesome. Love it.
Thanks for joining us, MC.
Yep. Bye.
Okay. Here we go. Let's jump into our other coverage show for the Super Bowl. Injuries. Not a lot to report here, Coop, but I will start with the Chiefs because they do have some injuries. Joe Thuney is not going to play, so that's kind of big for the guard. He didn't play last game, but we've already talked about their tackles aren't great. You've got some interior issues. And my guy, Jerick McKinnon, I was really excited. I'm like, let me do the first touchdown prop with Jerick. I don't think he's going to play. I mean, he's questionable, but I don't see anything on practice reports. He's still listed as returning week 23. Well, guess what? The game's tomorrow. So, and the 49ers, they got nobody on the report from what I can see.
No, they should. They're the healthiest they've been all year. That could be huge though for your guy Pacheco catching the ball out of the backfield. No, Jerick McKinnon.
I like Pacheco.
Yeah,
even though he's not James Pacheco's son.
No,
I know you thought that.
Illegitimate.
Well, he does spend some time in Jersey.
Yeah, I've seen him with the ladies. I don't doubt that for a minute.
Well, let's go over the game. We've got a lot to cover here, Coop. First of all, I mean, as of this morning, unless it changed, it's pretty steady. It hasn't moved in weeks. It's came out at 2.5, went a little bit down to 1 maybe for a minute, back to 2. It's been at San Francisco -2 for at least 10 days, and the total hasn't moved at all, 47.5. You mentioned it actually in the interview with Dempsey. So last time I checked, 81% of the bets are on Kansas City, 74% of the money. This scares me, dude. Why haven't they moved the damn line then? If all this money is coming in. So we'll talk about our handicaps first, and then I'm just going to give you my spiel. I did do a big article on wegspool.com. Check it out. Kind of my stuff. I really am having trouble deliberating on the game itself. I already did have the teaser that I mentioned last week. So I took Kansas City up to +8 and the total up to 53.5 going under. That's kind of how I thought the KC would do it. I am really worried about the Chiefs here. I just think San Francisco, first of all, their A game is better than the Chiefs. We know that. We've seen it in the season, right? But everybody's betting on this goddamn the Chiefs, and it's like the script crowd. At some point, Vegas makes money, bro. Like, I mean, I can't do it. I think that if I was to put hard-earned money pre-flop on it, I wrote in the article Kansas City, but don't go against Mahomes. Give me a break. I mean, you got to go with San Francisco if you play the money line. So to me, I am definitely doing an in-game situation. I am not betting any more money pre-flop on anything. I'm going to see how the first quarter plus goes and bet on the side that I think, could come back or something. I know Jimmy Hedgerton, your favorite term for me.
Oh, yeah.
But I still like the under. Dempsey mentioned that. I do like the under in this game. I think that the running game's probably important on both sides, so that's going to squeeze a little bit. And as much as we've seen some big plays, from Kansas City, I just don't think they're going to be able to light up this defense. Maybe they can run the ball a little bit, but we'll see. So that's my take on it. Back off till in game. Don't feel super strong. I know you like the money line for the Chiefs, so tell me your thoughts.
Yeah, the couple things that I noticed. Big thing: San Francisco was tied for the league in turnover differential. Kansas City was 28. They were minus 11. Yeah. So going forward, or just watching that momentum early, I think could be very key. Another big thing was throughout the analytics of the season. The Chiefs like to play a lighter box. So they like to play 8 or less pretty frequently. I think it was like 60-something% of the time.
Yep.
As the 49ers tendencies throughout the year, they actually threw more against lighter boxes and ran against heavier boxes. So they were kind of backwards on your thinking. So I think that is going to be an interesting tale of the tape in the first quarter. If they go against that trend, and I think if they run the ball against those light boxes, I think you're going to see a lot more success. So I think that's a big key early. And then the other big thing is just the line of scrimmage play. So actually, the Niners pass rush rate has actually gotten worse since they've gotten Chase Young. So they get to the quarterback less frequently now than what they did before they got Chase Young. So if they don't have any opportunity to rush Mahomes, and give him those third down situations, whether they're pass first or not. I mean, he's the best player in the league for a reason. So. Yeah, I mean, I worry from that standpoint, but again, you've had 2 weeks for these 2 great coaches. They're definitely going to have their aces up their sleeves. I think we're going to see some trick plays, and when we get into these prop bets, I think the over 2.5 for pass attempts for players, I think is a good one that I like. That. So who doesn't love a good trick play? But yeah, that's how I'm looking at going forward in the game. And I like the Chiefs in the first quarter just because the Niners have gotten off to such slow starts. And these teams are like opposite. The Chiefs have been really good the first 2 quarters, and then they suck in the second half, to where the Niners have been awful in the first half, and then they turn it on in the second half. So it's going to be interesting to see that trend play out.
And I think the other thing to consider, like you said, is that, Andy Reid's great off a bye. We know that. Yeah. But to your point, I think that Shanahan usually defers if they win the coin flip. So, KC's going to get the ball anyway to start. That's always a good thing to start. Other thing I wanted to mention is Adam Chernoff. He's a big follow on Twitter, and he's got a podcast. It's like a very short podcast. He's all over San Francisco for a lot of reasons, and I listened to him today, and I was just like, but we haven't seen that the last couple of weeks. They played at such a high level a lot of times, and then now they didn't. So I don't know. It's a tough situation. I want to see them just prove it to me. Usually have a pretty clear determination. And again, you lose the Wegs index, the playoff index, which hasn't done this good this year. But no, 49ers are the better team, at least in the regular season. But in the playoffs, the Chiefs have been better. So let's talk about some of these game props. And I don't know if you like some or don't. We'll talk about in each category first the actual game props. So like passing, Purdy and Mahomes. So Purdy, you got 247.5 is his total, minus 112 either side. I'm kind of agnostic on that one. I really like the interception prop, 0.5 interceptions. So it's to throw one for minus 120. I do like that personally. It looks like, it's game script to 10. So talk to me about your Coopalytics here.
Yeah, Coopalytics tells us to take the over here. So 254.5 is what he's
Well,
projected.
It's new now. Oh, but is that the actual?
That's the projection of him right now as it stands. So,
but the number's 24.
247.5. Okay. Yeah. So I like the over. I think the game script. If the Chiefs get out to a hot start again, they're going to have to abandon the run early.
Yep.
So if the Chiefs get up 10-0, they're going to have to come out and throw the ball.
For sure.
I could definitely see that happening more than the Niners running away from the Chiefs, in my opinion. I like the over there.
What about Mahomes? Mahomes is 261.5, minus 113 there. His projection's under that, which I kind of see that. I think they're going to run the ball more, but I wouldn't bet on it personally, but I can understand why you'd go under.
Yeah, for sure. Again, I think it's game script. What's the chances of, if anything, they're going to take the air out of the ball. They're not going to give the Niners that. They're going to lean on their defense, hopefully play field position and go from there.
But you're mentioning this, and this is right. As you go towards the game time, if you like the under, you wait because the totals usually creep up as you go. So if you like Mahomes, if you want to go to the under for Mahomes, wait a little bit. You might get a better number tomorrow. With Purdy, you probably should hit it now because he'll probably tick up to maybe 249.5, 250.5, something like that.
Yeah, and I think when I did it 2 weeks ago, Mahomes opened at I believe it was like 252 or something. So it's gone up 10 yards in like a week and a half. Yeah, so
got it. So for rushing, we've got a few rushers here to consider. You've got McCaffrey, of course, probably the head. He's 89.5 yards. His total is minus 110, and you've got his rushing attempts at 18.5. And then on the other side, Pacheco, 67.5, which is to me low. And then minus 115, but you can go alt yards on that. What do you like for McCaffrey?
If anything, I was going to go over on his yardage and his rushing attempts. Okay. I think if the Niners are going to win, it's going to be a lot of Christian McCaffrey.
Oh yeah,
it's going to be give that man the ball, and hey, guess what? We're going to run him again.
Yeah, for sure.
So I like that. Pacheco, I think the same thing. If you're going to go alt yards, I guess the more I think about it, I would go McCaffrey combined yards as opposed to rushing yards, just because I think they're going to throw the ball to him as well.
Right.
So if I had to lean under on one, I'd lean under on McCaffrey and over on Pacheco. But that's just how I'm feeling.
Just so you know, Dempsey just did another $2,500 on the $100 slot.
Nice.
Real time action.
Nice.
I agree with you. I probably wouldn't bet the McCaffrey over per se. I think he's going to get a lot of run. Like you said, he's going to get a lot of attempts. It's a big number. And the Chiefs, they're going to focus on him, even though they've got a lot of weapons, right? I like Pacheco over. I might even go alt over. 79.5 is the alt over I saw that I like, plus 180.
Nice.
Again, the path for them to win is Pacheco, So if it's a close game, they're going to be running the ball. Now, granted, it is game script dependent. Like you said, if they're trailing, they're probably not going to run to him. So we'll talk about later with McCaffrey what I like. But Debo has an interesting prop. I see it's actually up. I heard 14.5 when a couple days ago. I should have jumped on it. It's 16.5 for rushing for him, minus 125 for the over, but minus 105 for the under. So it's shaded, obviously, to the over, and I do like him for that. I'm not going to bet this one, but that would be something to be interested in.
Yeah, no, I would definitely take the over, too. Obviously, so you're not going to get a very good value for it, but
right.
What can you do?
And then you got the quarterbacks. You've got Purdy at 12.5 is his total, over minus 115. Mahomes is 26.5, minus 110. I do like Mahomes. I'm going to bet this one.
Oh, really?
I do. Now, granted, I think it was 24.5. God damn.
23.5.
Yeah, it was so low. Yeah. So, you got to jump on again. If you want to go over, you got to jump earlier. I just, frankly, had to get paid yesterday and all that shit. I should have done it. Well, it was funny because out of state, I got paid off on Lamar Jackson MVP, but I'm in Arizona, so I can't make the pick. So the money's in the account. Just couldn't do the pick. And so, but anyway, what about you? Which ones? It looks like you like Purdy over.
I would definitely do Purdy over. Yeah, okay. I could definitely see him scrambling out, bootlegging, getting him out of the pocket. I like his prop much more than Mahomes'. I think Mahomes was good for like 2022. I think 22 is about the highest I would have gone. But yeah, no, I could see Brock Purdy making a 15-yard run pretty easily. Especially how good their coverage is.
Yeah, just one. That's almost one scramble, basically.
Well, if they play man coverage and they turn their back, and he's just going to take off. Yeah.
The other factor is, for Mahomes especially, is the kneel down. So if they are winning, the kneel downs do count as a rush. So you can actually, it happened last year, I think, when they did the kneel downs. He went under his total because of it. So be mindful of that. Maybe it's worth going a little bit lower, 23 or where it was before, 24 and a half. 24 and a half, and then, pay a little extra juice for it. So now we've got the receiving props. There's a ton of these guys, and we have to think about it. So San Francisco, you've got Kittle, Debo, Ayuk, McCaffrey, and then I put a use check. But so Kittle, a lot of people, I like him. I like him a lot. 3.5 is his total for his receptions, over being minus 175. You can go out to 4.5 at plus 138. His yardage is 49.5. It seems low. I know that they have pretty good linebackers there, but personally, I know they like to attack it, and he didn't have a very good game last week. So I do this all 69.5 plus 235 personally.
Yeah, I think if you're going to attack Kansas City's defense, they probably would lean toward the middle of the field. But I like Ayuk. I think Ayuk is the one that's due for a big day. His over/under is 4.5 receptions. I would take the over. He's projected to do 5 or 5.5. His receiving yards is only 59.5, and I think he's projected right around 70.
Now, there's your ambulance. Do you think that he's going to draw Snead in the coverage? Versus,
even if he doesn't, I don't think it'll matter. I think you're going to see a lot of. I think you're going to see I think you're probably going to see some lighter boxes, but Brandon Ayuk is he's kind of starting to separate himself from a normal wide receiver. I like the matchups with him in this secondary, his size.
And then Debo is 4.5 receptions, 58.5 yards. I'm again a little agnostic with him on the receptions. We'll talk about. I like the kind of the total yardage for him, Debo and McCaffrey. McCaffrey's 4.5 receptions, 33.5 yards. His total yards are 129.5. I like that over. So I like combining. I know it's like, you're kind of being weak, Mr. Hedgerton, but
James Hedgerton,
he's going to get the ball. We all know he's going to get the ball in a variety of ways. So I can do that. One of the things that Chernoff mentioned that for his handicap for San Francisco is that he likes the way San Francisco plays because they're very physical. You've got Kittle's a physical receiver, Debo for sure. I'm not sure about Ayuk. He's okay. And even McCaffrey. So whereas the Chiefs play a lot of man-to-man coverage, their press coverage, they have good coverage, they're really good defense, but they played smaller guys. I know that your guy Tyreek Hill is strong, but Diggs is not a strong dude. He's more quick guy. Right. It's more speed in those. And really Zay Flowers, I guess, is more of a quicker guy. He had a pretty good game, but if they want to press, Debo, for example, or Kittle, they can win at the line of scrimmage with the strength. What do you think about that?
I do like that idea, just the physicality, and it's kind of built into the DNA of that team as well. So I guess that would be a good matchup. I do like the over on receiving yards for McCaffrey. I don't know if I like the over on receptions though. I think you go under receptions, but I think you go over on the yardage for sure.
Breaks one.
Yeah.
And then the last one I kind of heard a lot about was use check. He's a Eastern European guy like me. Just half reception over, right? Yeah. The under is plus 124. The over is, I guess you put that in there. Maybe put it. Anyway, whatever.
It was 115.
Okay. Okay, it's okay. I'd go over. I think he's going to get a reception, a catch, and then 4.5 yards is the actual. Just a little check down. So that's the split minus 115 on both sides for that. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I think not only besides him, I don't know if you've seen his hot ass smoking girlfriend.
Yeah, she makes the jackets.
She makes the jackets. Yeah. So,
and I think is that his girlfriend or his fiance? I can't remember.
Fiance, sure, maybe wife. I don't know. Yeah, but it might be a wife now. But he did it.
It is a great last name.
God, of course it is.
It's never going to get spelled correctly. Poor guy.
Well, let's see. We'll keep going. Anyway, so then Kelsey, obviously everybody loves Travis Kelsey. They're betting the hell out of this guy. 6.5 receptions.
It's gone up 2
receptions. Yeah, 2 receptions, 70.5 yards, which again is pretty high. The over is minus 130. The under is plus 100. I know you like him over. I just think it's just gotten out of control. If you got in it early, I don't know. We'll see. But
I did. I got in when it was 4.5.
Oh, okay. So you got the receptions over.
Oh, yeah.
Just see what happens here.